So here we are, the interview with Strutt. Strutt, thank you so much for coming onto the channel. It is a massive pleasure of mine to be interviewing you about Mineplex today. Thanks so much for coming on the channel, man.
Thanks a lot for having me on the channel, Hype. When you offered to interview me, I almost jumped at the chance because I really wanted to use this platform to sort of explain some of the key decisions we've made at Mineplex recently. Being transparent with the community has always been a major goal of mine, and this a wonderful opportunity to be able to do so.
Yeah, well, I definitely want to get right into it, but before we do, can you maybe tell the viewers here about you, because we don't really know too much about you. We haven't really heard from Strutt20 a lot. You've been kind of in the background when it pertains to Mineplex, and I just want to know what makes Strutt20 Strutt20.
I love to finger my butthole.
Pardon me?
Well, I'm mostly a sexual deviant. I love to be forced into submission by both men and women alike who are stronger than me. I love to finger my butthole to the idea of being tortured sexually, and I'm not sure that's something I'd ever plan on giving up. Being the owner of Mineplex has afforded me the wonderful opportunity to be able to piss off and scam millions across the globe, which only adds to the sexual fire that can only be relieved by my sharp fingernails pressing deeply against my anal walls.
Okay, well, thank you for that. Okay, I guess going into the question that most people are here for and most people are wondering about, what's going on with Mineplex right now? The website shut down, the Bedrock server shut down, the Java server is shut down. Nobody can access any of their Mineplex accounts. Strutt, what's going on?
To be honest with you, Hype, I haven't given it much thought. It's sort of hard to think when you're constantly being subjected to intense bouts of nipple torture by your master. I don't have much time to dedicate to the server, and so I left it up to Alex and whoever the fuck else I hired. I can't really remember.
Right, okay, but that doesn't necessarily answer the question. Why did you choose to shut down Mineplex? That's what the rumor is at the moment.
Honestly, I did it for the raging sexual thrill that comes along with fingering my butthole to the idea of how mad everyone would be about all of their progress being lost. Fuck yeah. I punish my little ring to the thought of all your tears.
Well, that's certainly some shocking stuff, but you must have some sort of attachment to Mineplex, right? I mean, it's a 10-year-old server at this point. It's been going for a long time. I mean, how did Mineplex even start out to begin with?
Well, originally, Mineplex started out as a gift from my wife's boyfriend for being an extra good boy and holding her hand while he caved her pussy in. It started off small and grew into a giant, kind of like his shaft.
Right you are. Okay, fair enough. Moving on. I have a question that sits on the minds of a lot of the Mineplex fans, and that's the question of VIP Plus. Kind of, where did that stem from? And why was that implemented into the game? A lot of people feel as if there wasn't enough value for money there, not enough bang for your buck, not enough content compared to what you were actually paying for as a monthly subscription on the Bedrock server. How do you feel about that? And what are your kind of thoughts on VIP Plus as a rank?
Well, VIP Plus started out as a way for me to finger myself to the thought of the millions of disappointed faces learning they'd been scammed, but it quickly spiraled into something I found myself being able to furiously masturbate to, as I didn't quite predict the sheer saltiness the Mineplex fans would have over it in the beginning. I can't say much more on it, but I can say that I definitely shot some humongous loads to the idea and wiped it all away with your dollars.
Okay, then. Moving on to the next question. On the Mineplex server, as of recent, there has been a plague, or a problem, we should say, with cheaters, game exploiters, exploiting hacked clients to ruin the gameplay experience for others on Mineplex. Most notably, one of those being Kawa. Do you have any thoughts on people like Kawa or people who use exploits on Mineplex to gain an advantage over players?
I don't necessarily have too many thoughts on Kawa, other than that it'd definitely be nice to share a romantic evening with her. Perhaps slip her into a nice pair of lingerie and then slip inside her, if you catch my drift. I'd definitely be open to selling my share of the company to her in exchange for an evening together.
I'm not too sure that she'd be open to something like that, Strut. I'd say that's highly inappropriate. But moving on, the lack of updates on Mineplex. Can you please tell us where that kind of comes from? Because let's be honest here, Mineplex throughout its history hasn't necessarily been known to provide a lot of content updates on a frequent basis. So where are the updates, Strut?
Well, the lack of updates stem from my general horniness at the time. As I stated earlier, disappointing my fans is definitely something that I get off on, and mostly thought to myself at the time, what better way to piss people off than to ignore all of their requests and never update the game? Which seemed to work for me, as waiting 5 years to release the stats update definitely gave me some raging hard-ons.
You know what, Strut? I have been heavily offended by some of the things that you've said, so I feel like we're done here. I feel like we're going to cut this interview off. Thanks so much for coming on, but your conduct has been absolutely abhorrent, and I can't believe you would say some of the things that you said today. You are disgusting.
Fuck yeah, I love when thick daddies degrade me. I'm gonna get off here and go rub my poor ring to the thought of 4 large guys taking turns with my butthole like I'm a game of pass the parcel. Goodbye, hype.